NHS heroes and an army of volunteers will hit the 15 million COVID vaccine target tomorrow. The remarkable Valentine's Day milestone means 80% in the most vulnerable groups are protected. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said, "We have made huge progress. That's great." In a second boost he said he was optimistic lockdown could ease. Mr. Johnson today hailed the vaccine's victory as the NHS looks set to meet its landmark target of 15 million jabs target on Valentine's Day. 24-hour. The lockdown-weary country gets a Valentine's Day gift from the NHS tomorrow as its dedicated team hits the target of 15 million vaccinations. The PM spread the love by saying he was optimistic the nation will begin to come out of lockdown in the fall of the vaccine effort. He said, "We have made huge progress and that's great." He spread the love even further, saying he was optimistic the UK can begin to come out of lockdown in a fortnight's time, but warned restrictions would ease slow. What is your view? Have your say in the comments section. But Shadow Health Secretary Jonathan Ashworth reflected the mood of a grateful nation by saying the success was down to the tireless work of doctors, nurses, GPs, pharmacists, soldiers and volunteers who made the remarkable rollout. He added, "Going so quickly from labs to jabs is tribute to medical scientists and all the fantastic each and every one is a hero we can all be proud of." The beginning of the end of lockdown will mean a phased return of schools on March 8th and scrapping the ban on meeting friends and loved ones outdoors. The PM warned restrictions would be lifted slowly to avoid what he called the reverse ferret of a new look. From Monday, the next 3 million people on the vaccine priority list aged 65 to 69 can begin having jabs. Another 1.8 meters aged 16 to 64 with underlying health conditions will also be protected. 1 million in phase 2 have already been offered booking slots and 2.4 meters reminder led. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said the vaccination program was continuing at an unprecedented speed and NHS boss Sir Simon Stevens called the widening of the rollout an exciting moment. Hitting 15 million jabs by February 15th was the government's key goal in giving the vaccine to the elderly and most vulnerable, frontline NHS staff, care and social workers and care home residents. More than 80% of over 70s have had the jab and any who haven't are urged to seek an appointment. By lunch today, 14,556,827 jabs had been given and new COVID cases were down to 13,308 from 18,200. Nearly 535,000 people have received their second dose. Another 621 have died, down 137 from Friday and a huge fall from the record 1,820 on January. Also today, new hospital admissions dropped to 2,592 from a high of 3,700 a day. Veteran NHS staffers have come out of retirement to help with the vaccine rollout at 1,500 sites, including mosques, museums, sports grounds and cathedrals. They join soldiers, dental workers, trained volunteers and 200 pharmacies to deliver their target a day before the deadline. Mr. Hancock's vaccine minister Nadhim Zahawi said, "Every jab is another step nearer returning to." Mr. Johnson gave a preview of the roadmap out of lockdown he intends to unveil a week tomorrow. "I'm optimistic," he said during a visit to the Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies plant in Billingham, Teesside, where 60 meters doses of the new Novavax vaccine will be. "But we have to be cautious," he added. Whitehall insiders said everything depends on what data shows this week. But if infections and hospitalizations keep going down, people will be allowed to meet outside at the same point as their children go back. And if the return of schools does not cause a spike in infections, then non-essential shops will begin to reopen, followed by public. In other positive steps, the Oxford/AstraZeneca vaccine only licensed for over 18s will now be trialed in children. Researchers are recruiting 300 volunteers to find out if those aged between 6 and 17 will get the same benefits from the vaccine. And top Israeli healthcare provider Maccabi said that out of 520,000 people given 2 doses of the Pfizer jab, not one had died of COVID. The researchers said their findings show that the vaccine is effective against COVID's Kent variant, but it was too early to say anything about its value in tackling the South African. Unlike in the UK, the Israeli government has been following the manufacturer's own guidelines stating that both doses should be administered 3 weeks apart. Israel has become the world's testing ground for the vaccine's effectiveness, as 9 in 10 over 60s have now had. Infection rates in that age group have fallen dramatically but are still rising among the under 59. Mr. Hancock said vaccines are a way out to freedom as he revealed his ambition to have all UK adults vaccinated, and he predicted that jabs used in combination with new medicines to treat COVID would mean the disease could be beaten by the end of the. Britain has so far approved the drugs dexamethasone and tocilizumab, which together lower death risk by 40. Mr. Hancock said, "If COVID-19 ends up like flu through vaccines and treatments, we can get on with everything." And Mr. Johnson added, "In due time it will become become something that we simply live with. A new disease like this will take time for humanity to adapt to, but we are on Friday. The PM will hold a virtual meeting with U.S. President Joe Biden and other G7 leaders to work out a global vaccination program. The UK has contributed £548 million to international vaccinator COVAX, but the organization still has only 2 billion doses, a fifth of what it needs for people in poorer countries. Independent Sage's Professor Anthony Costello, from the Institute for Global Health at University College London, warned that without worldwide immunity, vaccine-resistant mutant strains will be able to get into Britain. We're in this together, he said. A vaccinated world protects all of us. Independent Sage warns that it is still too early to come out of lockdown, saying it will be at least 3 weeks before jabs reduce the death rate significantly. Professor Christina Pajal, of University College London, said, there are still more people in hospital than during the first peak. Success. After all the failures when Boris Johnson set up the vaccine task force in May last year, he gave it. The instruction was unambiguous, to consolidate Britain's position at the forefront of global research and development. And amid all the government's botched pandemic failures, the vaccine program shines internationally as a stunning success. It has been a victory for British scientific skill and ingenuity, industrial scale and expertise, and political determination. The wheels began to turn in early January last year when Oxford University scientists realized the world was facing a deadly pandemic. At a crisis meeting, Professor Sarah Gilbert, a vaccine researcher, revealed she had devised a possible vaccine based on a formula previously used to fight it. The race had begun. Her team's biggest fear was Donald Trump would buy up all vaccine stock. AstraZeneca signed a production deal last April, telling Number 10 that it would produce jabs at cost price. The government bought in early, doing deals with another 6 companies, including Pfizer/BioNTech. Johnson set up the JVT under entrepreneur and biochemist Kate Bingham, and told the Treasury to start investing in protection against this and future virus. Health Secretary Matt Hancock boasted Britain's exit from the EU allowed faster approval, a claim slated at the time but which gained credibility with the Brussels farce over supplies and comparative low jab levels. China and Russia have been marketing their own vaccines around the world, but they have not been subject to the same rigorous testing standards as Britain's regulators, who pulled out all the stops to deliver safely in record. Margaret Keenan, 90, was first in line for her jab as UK doses began to roll out on December 8, and the huge national effort has seen an army of volunteers, including celebrities, pitch into help. Downton actor Hugh Bonneville and TV presenter Vernon Kay were among star volunteers this weekend, while Ruth Langsford was proud to pose while she got her shot. Today marks the symbolic target on the road to getting Britain back. There is growing speculation it might do the same for Boris's political prospects, at least in Britain's world-beating rollout. How we compare with other nations, the percentage of populations that have got at least one vaccine dose as of today, and the number. The list reads country, percentage, and number of population. Israel 71.592 meters, UAE Emirates 49.564.9 meters, UK 21.42 14.55 meters, United States 14.48 48.1 meters, Bahrain 13 67 224 900, Serbia 10.57 719,381, Chile 9.66 1.6 meters, Denmark 6.41 363,000, Iceland 5.75 17,700, Romania 5.25 1.01 meters, Spain 5.18 2.42 meters, Ireland 5.03 243,400, Italy 4.792 89 meters, Germany 4.74 3.97 meters, Turkey 4.04 3.4 meters, France 3.96 2.69 meters, Canada 3.24 1.22 meters, China 282 40.52 meters, Russia 2.67 3.9 meters, Brazil 2.21 4.7 meters, Argentina 1.31 591,632, India 0.589 meters, Mexico 0.56 726,002, Indonesia 0.51.3